ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Reading from the book The Path of Perfection by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Chapter number 4, continuing. Yuktahara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta swapna avabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkhaha. He who is temperate in his habits of eating, sleeping, working, and recreation can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. Although we should minimize our eating and sleeping, we should not attempt this too rapidly at the risk of becoming sick. Because people are accustomed to eating voraciously, there are prescriptions for fasting. We can reduce our sleeping and eating, but we should remain in good health for spiritual purposes. We should not attempt to reduce eating and sleeping too rapidly or artificially. When we advance, we will naturally not feel pain due to the reduction of these natural bodily processes. In this respect, Raghunath Dasa Goswami offers a good example. Although a very rich man's son, Raghunath Dasa, left his home to join Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because he was the only son, Raghunath Dasa was very beloved to his father. Understanding that his son had gone to Jagannath Puri to join Lord Chaitanya, the father sent 4 servants with money to attend him. At first, Raghunatha accepted the money, thinking, "Oh, since my father has sent all this money, I will accept it and invite all the sannyasis to feast." After some time, however, the feasts came to an end. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then inquired from his secretary, Swarupa Damodara, "Nowadays, I don't receive any invitations from Raghunatha. What has happened?" That is because Raghunatha has stopped accepting his father's money. "Oh, that's very nice," Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. Raghunatha was thinking, although I have renounced everything, I am still enjoying my father's money. This is hypocritical. Therefore, he has told the servants to go home and has refused the money. So, how is he living? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inquired. "Oh, he is standing on the steps of the Jagannatha temple, and when the priests pass him on their way home, they offer him some prasad. In this way, he is satisfied." This is very nice, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu commented. Regularly going to the Jagannath temple, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would see Raghunatha standing on the steps. After a few days, however, he no longer saw him there. Therefore, the Lord commented to his secretary, "I no longer see Raghunatha standing on the temple steps. He has given that up," Swarup Damodara explained. He was thinking, oh, I am standing here just like a prostitute waiting for someone to come and give me food. No, I don't like this at all. That is very nice, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. But how is he eating? Every day he is collecting some rejected rice from the kitchen and is eating that. To encourage Raghunatha, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu one day visited him. Raghunatha, Lord said, I hear that you are eating very palatable food. Why are you not inviting me? Raghunatha did not reply. But the Lord quickly found the place where he kept the rice. And the Lord immediately took some and began to eat it. Dear Lord, Raghunatha implored, please do not eat this. It is not fit for you. Oh, no. Why do you say it's not fit for me? It's Lord Jagannath's prasad. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu enacted this pastime just to discourage Raghunath from thinking, I am eating this miserable rejected rice. Through the Lord's encouragement, Raghunatha Dasa Goswami reduced his daily quantity of food until he was finally eating only one pat of butter every other day. And every day he was also bowing down hundreds of times and constantly chanting the holy names. Sankhya Purvaka Nama Gana Natibhi Kala Vasani Krito. Although this is an example, excellent example of minimizing all material necessities, we should not try to imitate it. It is not possible for an ordinary man to imitate Raghunath Das Goswami, who was one of the 6 Goswamis, a highly elevated associate of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. Each one of the 6 Goswamis displayed a unique example of how one can advance in Krishna consciousness, but it is not our duty to imitate them. We should just try to follow as far as possible in their footsteps. If we immediately try to become like Raghunath Das Goswami by imitating him, we are sure to fail, and whatever progress we have made will be defeated. Therefore, the Lord says in the 6th chapter, 16th verse, that there is no possibility of one's becoming a yogi if one eats too much or too little. So it's a very interesting example, a very beautiful story, a wonderful pastime, how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu encouraged his disciples to perform bhakti to the highest level, to elevate the consciousness to the highest level. One may think Raghunath Dasa was standing on the, before that, some people may think, what's wrong in accepting money from one's father and give a feast to the sannyasis every day? What is wrong? What's wrong to keep the servants sent by the father? When it comes to renouncing this material world, renouncing the pleasures of this material world, comforts of this material world, one has to elevate himself even from this platform. One may have left his home and living in a remote place away from family members, everything, but if somebody is still receiving benefits, receiving some comforts from the family, then it is still not called as proper vairagya. And next to it, further people may say, okay, he did not receive the money sent by his father, he sent back the servants sent by his father. But what's wrong in standing on the steps of Jagannath Puri temple and accepting little prasad of Jagannath? What is wrong there? When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard, that Raghunath Dasa has stopped receiving money from his father. He is rejecting, and he sent back the servants. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that is very nice. He was very happy with the attitude of Raghunath Das Goswami. And next, when he was standing, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was every day seeing Raghunath Dasa. He was standing on the steps, and when the pujari was going home in his hand with some prasad, he would offer some prasad to Raghunath Dasa, and with that he was maintaining. And after a few days, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stopped seeing Raghunath Das on the steps as well. And when he asked from his secretary Sarupa Damodara what happened to Raghunath Dasa, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's secretary said that Raghunath Dasa was thinking that that is also not correct. It is like a prostitute standing on the way looking for a customer. So, from all these beautiful pastimes of the Goswamis and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this, he again said, that is very nice. Right? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so happy. So we can understand what, and who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, disguised as his own devotee. So you can imagine Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so happy when Raghunath Das stopped receiving money. He refused to take money from his father. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became even more happier when he understood that Raghunath Dasa stopped standing and receiving the prasad on the steps of Jagannath temple. And he became even happy when he heard that he is collecting the rejected rice from the kitchen of the Jagannath temple. And he is maintaining himself on that. So this is the height of Vairagya. That is why Srila Prabhupada warns that we should not imitate them. And in the very first verse, first paragraph of today's reading, Srila Prabhupada says that we should not, out of sentiments or out of some kind of false kind of determination, we should not immediately jump to the level of, we should not try to jump to the level of Goswamis by not eating anything at all. Raghunath Das Goswami was eating only a small piece of butter, and in some other places it is said he was drinking only a glass of buttermilk. So it should be for a practitioner, it should be neither less nor more. Yukta ahara viharasya, yukta chestasya karmasu. Should not eat more, should not eat less. Then only we can perform bhakti yoga. Otherwise, if you eat less, there is a problem. If you eat more, there is another problem. So you have to moderately eat so that we can maintain our body. And if we have the desire to come to the level of Goswamis, Srila Prabhupada says, we can definitely come to that level provided we practice according to the instructions of the current Acharya, that is Srila Prabhupada. If you can practice continuously and progress in devotional service under the guidance of Srila Prabhupada, then naturally a day will come when the body will no longer crave, for the regular needs. Body will not crave. At present moment, what we do, body is craving. Even though on Ekadashi day we do fasting, Nirjal fasting, Sajal fasting, the whole day there will be disturbance in the body. The body will be craving for water. The body will be craving for food. But we force or we suppress our hankering or the force of hunger, and we fast. Yes, once in 15 days, or Janmashtami day, or the Acharya's appearance, disappearance days, yes, it is recommended to fast. Best is Nirjala fast. Right? But we have to do it like Goswamis. For Goswamis, it was like everyday fasting. They never ate. Because the reason is not that they were just fasting. No, they were constantly engaged. Krishnot Kirtana Gana Nartana. They were always engaged in Krishna Kirtana. Either they were chanting or doing Sankirtan or dancing or sharing some Krishna Katha with other aspiring devotees or meeting other Goswamis and having Ishta Goshti. They had no time to eat at all. Not only eating, they did not even sleep. They would sleep hardly for 1.5 to 2 hours. Sometimes when we fast on Ekadashi, some devotees can't control the pain and they want to sleep the whole day in the name of fasting. So our Acharya, current Acharya Srila Prabhupada has never recommended that. Srila Prabhupada says on Ekadashi days, if you are trying to fast but you are not able to do service and you are sleeping, then better you eat nicely some non-grain prasadam and do work, do service. That is better than not doing service and sleeping in the name of fasting. So the instructions what Srila Prabhupada has given, because acharyas are very intelligent. They are acharyas because they give the instructions based on desha, kala and patra, according to the time, place, circumstances and the person. Right? So that is why sometimes person to person the instructions of the acharya may vary. Place to place the instructions may vary. Right? According to the situation the instruction may vary. That is why we have to always see what is the context of the instruction given by Srila Prabhupada in any of his letters or whatever. We cannot take out one instruction from somewhere and apply it everywhere. Of course, there are some instructions which are universal. Some instructions are universal, just like the regulative principles of freedom, universal. You cannot say because I am somewhere in some place, I can eat meat. That doesn't apply to me. No, that is only when there is very rare situation wherein there is no food for you at all. Even if you are trying hard, you are not getting food at all, you are going to die. At that point there is something called as apad dharma, and then you can kill some other animal and eat, but otherwise not. So that way, these principles, the regulative principles, chanting 16 rounds of Hare Krishna mantra minimum, right, and following all the other principles of devotional service, they're all the universal principles. But when it comes to, there are many other small instructions, small but important instructions by Srila Prabhupada, which vary according to the time, place, and circumstances, right? And this circumstance wherein we are living in Kali Yuga, where it is very difficult for people living in cities and all, they are roaming around from one end of the city to the other end for their job, for their business or whatever. So it becomes very difficult for them to do proper fasting. Srila Prabhupada is very kind, very merciful. He has instructed you can have non-grain prasadam, right? But first class is always first class. First class fasting is Nirjala fasting. So we have to accept, if we are not able to do, we have to accept that we fail to do first class Ekadashi fasting, right? But second class, third class is not so bad. Better than not fasting at all, right? So this is how we should not eat more, we should not eat less, we have to eat moderate to maintain the body, to maintain the strength, so that we can engage in devotional service. Right? Sometimes when some devotees, when they are new, they are very enthusiastic. As soon as somebody is fasting, They directly do Nirjala fasting and next 3-4 days they'll not be able to do any service. It's very bad. You have to try slowly, slowly. Suppose 30 years you have been eating nicely all 365 days of the year, and suddenly you come in contact with some devotees and the devotees say Ekadashi means you have to fast, and you suddenly start Nirjala fasting, then definitely it will have a bad impact on your body, right? So you have to be slow, you have to be cautious and follow, right? So Yukta Ahara, Krishna clearly says we should be moderate, right? We'll go next. The same moderation applies to sleep. Presently, I may be sleeping 10 hours a day, but if I can keep myself fit by sleeping 5 hours, why sleep 10? As far as the body is concerned, there are 4 demands, right? Everybody knows: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. So these are the 4 demands of the body. The problem with modern civilization is that it is trying to increase these demands, but they should be decreased instead. This is the unfortunate state of this modern generation, right? The modern generation thinks because of the modernization, because of the advancement of the civilization, because of the advancement of the technology, because of the advancement in all the fields, right? This advancement means we should eat more and more. We should eat much better and better stuffs. People sometimes go from Bangalore to Hyderabad just to eat biryani. You can see this is the tendency of the animals. Why in Bangalore is has become desert where food is not available? No, food is available, but the craze is they want to taste something, out of the world, and they are ready to travel to Hyderabad to eat only biryani, right? So the problem with modern civilization is that it is trying to increase these demands. Body is demanding anyway. Body wants to eat, eat, eat. Yes, they are increasing the demand. The newer and newer restaurants are opening. How many number restaurants are opening? All are running in Bangalore. Nobody is going in loss because people wants to eat. They want to eat more and more and more. But what is the repercussion? They'll end up in eating wrong food, wrong time, unhygienic, and they fall sick, inviting so many unwanted diseases. And also sleeping. We will find so many big showrooms. The only purpose is how you can sleep nicely. Very nice, mattresses, beds, everything, and the quality is day by day increasing. So what the modern generation is trying to do: increase eating, increase sleeping, mating, sex life, defending, how you can use the greatest, the latest technology for defending. So according to the Shastras, these are all animalistic tendencies. These are the tendencies of an animal. And what humans are doing, as a human being, we should be trying to reduce these 4 things. But unfortunately, the so-called modern civilization is trying to increase these demands of the body. Eat what we need and sleep when we need, and our health will be excellent. A very beautiful formula, Srila Prabhupada says. Eat what we need and sleep when we need, and our health will be excellent. So, sleep when we need. Not that because time is there, I'll sleep for 10 hours. No. The Prabhupada says 5 to 6 hours is sufficient for a human body. If not sufficient at night, you can have a small nap during the day. That too, Srila Prabhupada says maximum 45 minutes. So take 1 hour and 5 or 6 hours. So out of 24 hours, what is the necessity of the body is only 6 to 7 hours of rest. But unfortunately, we sleep more than this time and we are wasting our valuable human form of life. Eat what we need and sleep when we need, and our health will be excellent. There is no question of artificial imitation. And what is the result obtained by one who is temperate in his habits? What is the result when somebody is temperate? Somebody is yada viniyatam chittam atmannevavatisthate nisprahah sarvakamebhyo yukta ityuchyate tada. When the yogi, by practice of yoga, disciplines his mental activities and becomes situated in transcendence, devoid of all material desires, he is said to have attained yoga. And the yogi, by practice of yoga, disciplines his mental activities. Yada viniyatam chittam. The activities of the mind are disciplined. Atmani eva tishthate. And he is situated in transcendence, situated in spirit. Nisprahah sarvakamebhyo, untouched by any material desires, devoid of all material desires. Yukta ityuchyate tada. He is said to have attained yoga. The perfection of yoga means keeping the mind in a state of equilibrium. Materially speaking, this is impossible. After reading a mundane novel once, you will not want to read it again. But you can read Bhagavad Gita 4 times a day and still not tire of it. You may chant someone's name a half an hour or sing a mundane song 3 or 4 times, but before long, this becomes tiresome. Hare Krishna, however, can be chanted day and night, and one will never be tired of it. Therefore, it is only through transcendental vibration that the mind can be kept in a state of equilibrium. When one's mental activities are thus stabilized, one is said to have attained yoga. So, one is said to have attained yoga when one's mind's activities are in equilibrium. The perfectional stage of yoga was exhibited by King Ambarisha, who utilized all his senses in the service of the Lord. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Savai Manah Krishna Padara Vindayor Vacham Sivaikuntha Gunanuvarnane Karau Harer Mandira Marjanadisho Shrutim Chakarachyuta Satkathodaye Mukunda Lingalaya Darshane Drisho Tadvritya Gatra Sparsha Anga Sama Sangamam घ्राणं च तत्पाद सरोज सौरभे श्रीमत्तुलस्या रसनं तदर्पिते पादौ हरेर्क्षेत्र पदानुसर्पणे शिरो ऋषिकेश पदाभिवन्दने कामं च दास्ये न तु काम काम्यया यथ उत्तम श्लोक जनाश्रयारतिः. Very beautiful explanation of how Ambarish Maharaj engaged each and every inch of his body in the service of the Lord. How he engaged his ears, his tongue, his eyes, his nose, his hands, his legs, everything. Savai manah Krishna padaravindayo. He engaged his mind in always thinking of the lotus feet of Krishna. Krishna padaravindayo. Vachamsi vaikuntha gunanuvarnane. He engaged his tendency to talk. Vachamsi. He engaged his tendency of talking in Vaikuntha Gunanuvarnane, in glorifying the activities of Vaikuntha. And who is Vaikuntha? Krishna. Krishna's another name is Vaikuntha, and the planet, spiritual planet, is also called as Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha means Vigata Kuntha iti Vaikuntaha, the one, that place which is free from anxieties, that place which is free from dukkha, That place is called as Vaikuntha, Vigata Kuntha iti Vaikuntha. And Krishna, because he is also free from anxieties, he is also called as Vaikuntha. And the tongue, the speech should be utilized, should be engaged in glorifying his activities. Vachamsi Vaikuntha Gunanu Varnane. Karau Harer Mandira Marjana Dishu. Karau, hands, Kara means hands. Harer Mandira, Lord Hari's Mandira. What? Marjana Dishu. Cleaning. Cleaning the Hari Mandira. Let hands be engaged in cleaning the Hari Mandira. Shrutim Chakara Chuta Satkathodaye. Engage the ears in hearing the Satkatha of Achyuta Krishna. Mukunda Lingalaya Darshane Drisho. Mukunda Lingalaya Darshane Drisho. Engage the eyes in seeing the beautiful darshan of Lord Krishna, Lord Mukunda. Tadbhritya Gatra Sparsha Anga Sangamam. And engage the tendency of touch, perception in touching the bodies of other devotees. Tadbhritya, his devotees. Bhritya means the devotees or the servants. Tadbhritya Gatra Sparshe Anga Sangamam. Granam cha tatpada saroja saurabhe. Grana refers to the nose, nostrils. Engage the nostrils. What is the work of the nostrils? To take the smell. So use that tendency, engage that tendency in Tadpada Saroja Saurabhe, the lotus offered at the lotus feet of Krishna. To take the beautiful fragrance of that, use your nostrils. Shrimat Tulasya Rasanam Tadarpite. And engage the tongue in tasting the tulsi leaves offered to Lord Krishna. Pado Harer Kshetra Padanu Sarpane. Pado, the legs should be engaged in Hare Kshetra Padanu Sarpane. To go to the place of Hari Kshetra, Vrindavan, Dwaraka, Mathura, Jagannath Puri. These are the places of Hari. These are called as Hari Kshetra or Hari Dhama. So engage your legs in going to these holy places. Shiro Rishikesha Padabhivandane. Use your head to bow down at the lotus feet of Lord Hari, Lord Rishikesha. Kamam chadase natu kama kamyaya yatha uttama shloka janashrayaratihi. Engage all your activities, all your desires in serving that Lord Shri Krishna. So this was the life of Ambarisha. King Ambarisha, first of all, engaged his mind on the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Then one after another, he engaged his words in describing the transcendental qualities of the Lord, his hands in mopping the temple of the Lord, his ears in hearing the activities of the Lord, his eyes in seeing the transcendental forms of the Lord, his body in touching the bodies of the devotees, his sense of smell in smelling the scents of the lotus flowers offered to the Lord, his tongue in tasting the tulsi leaf offered at the temple of the Lord, his head in offering obeisances unto the Lord, and his desires in executing the mission of the Lord. All these transcendental activities are quite befitting a pure devotee. This then is the perfection of yoga, devoid of all material desire. If all our desires are for Krishna, there is no scope for material desires. So this is the formula. If we want to get out of the material desires, if we want to become completely detached, we have to engage ourselves completely in Krishna's service. Kaya, Vacha, Manasa, Buddhya. By all the ways, we have to engage ourselves in Krishna's service 24 hours. Then there is possibility to become completely detached from material affairs and to completely engage in transcendental affairs. All material desire is automatically finished. We don't have to try to concentrate artificially. All perfection is there in Krishna consciousness because it is on the platform of spirit. It is on the spiritual platform. Being on the spiritual platform, this supreme yoga is eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge. Therefore, there are no misgivings or material impediments. So, here we end the fourth chapter of the book, The Path of Perfection by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. We will continue from the fifth chapter in our next session. Thank you everyone for joining. Vishwaguru